Hey everybody, Tim here with my special co-host Jordan.
Hi.
So I put up a poll asking you guys which shows you guys wanted me to do, and for whatever reason, you guys picked Golden Girls, which I've seen dozens of times. But you guys wanted to see reviews of it, so I decided to rope my husband into doing it with me, and so here we are. So we're going to start out with the pilot, the very first episode, The Engagement. I guess I'll ask you, what did you think of it first?
Very first pilot. I always like the pilot episodes because since it's the first episode, you can tell the awkwardness that the whole cast has because it's the first time they're kind of filming together, and I pick up on the awkwardness, but at the same time, you can kind of see them work through it that episode. So it's interesting to me in that aspect of it all.
I like pilots because like so much of it changes from the beginning. So this whole episode is about Blanche is dating some guy and he proposes to her after like 2 weeks and them kind of dealing with it. But like everything, I mean, it's very similar to the rest of the series, but like for example, this one, they have a gay cook named Coco that you never see again. And I always kind of question it because at one point Blanche comes home and to kind of announce like the proposal, and Coco's there like in a robe. Like where the fuck does he live? Like there's not that many bedrooms.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they don't really like imply on it, but like it's late at night, and like Rose is talking about how she's like, "Oh, I know that I'm drinking tea late at night. I'm gonna be getting up all through the hours," and then Dorothy's like, "No, you're gonna be getting me up all night." And, but at the same time, he's there at night and he's in a robe, but it's a house with three women and
Like how many bedrooms do they have?
see, I don't know because that's the thing is that see in the pilot episode I picked up on that they kind of changed the design of the house a little bit because in the later seasons all the women pretty much all their bedrooms are down the one hallway.
Right.
Where now in this pilot episode Blanche's room is actually off to the left of the lanai. And so
I missed that completely.
yeah, so that's
Because isn't Blanche's room at like the end of the hallway?
yeah, her room is at the very end.
Okay.
And if you look at the design of Blanche's bedroom and where it's at, I mean, the lanai is clearly in the middle. So, I mean, she has a bathroom in her bedroom. And so just the design of the house definitely got changed. And so I feel like that's...
You're really good at interior design.
Yes, I know.
Because we binged Full House a couple years ago, and you did the same thing. You're like, Danny's room's not supposed to be there. And like later on, they did change it. And I was like, how the fuck did you notice that? So you're really good at that. So he picks up on stuff like that. I pick up on more of the technical stuff. So, for example, like Blanche's southern accent is a little less in this one. Or at the very end of the episode, when they realize that Blanche's betrothed or whatever.
I think his name is Harry.
Yeah.
Henry, Harry, something with an H.
The cop shows up to tell Blanche about it. That cop was played by Meshach Taylor. Anthony from Designing Women.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And like 2 years from this episode, Meshach Taylor and Estelle Getty do the movie Mannequin together.
Oh, interesting. I love Mannequin.
And so, like I said, I pick up on the little stuff like that. So, like you said, there's always awkwardness when filming. The thing that works for this is the three main leads did know each other. I mean, they haven't acted in this show together, so there is that awkwardness. But B. Arthur, who plays Dorothy, when originally approached, said no. Because Betty White was cast as Blanche.
No.
And Rue McClanahan was cast as Rose. And so they asked they asked B. Arthur to be in it. And she said no, because Rue McClanahan and B. Arthur had just been in Maude together. Have you ever seen Maude?
I have seen. I've seen a lot of Maude.
It's the spinoff of All in the Family.
Okay.
And let's see, Betty White was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, where she played kind of a scandalous homewrecker.
Oh, so she didn't want to be...
She didn't want to be typecast. And when they went to B. Arthur's like, no. I mean, this show is just going to be like Maude and Vivian meet Sue Ann. And so she was like, I don't want to do this. So Rue McClanahan and Betty White switched roles. And then when they switched roles, that's when B. Arthur signed up.
Oh, interesting. Well, thank goodness, because Betty White is my favorite character, so...
So I don't know. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom would force me to watch this show on Lifetime all the time. Mm-hmm. And like as a little kid, Rose was always my favorite because she has the best lines.
Oh, yes.
And then, like in my early 20s, I identified with Blanche the most for unspeakable reasons. And then, like where I'm at now in my life, I think I relate to Dorothy the most, especially when Dorothy's talking to Rose. Where
Yeah, I could see that, because...
just the sarcasm, just the like...
Yeah, you know, she's the teacher, she's educated, and then there's Rose, who, bless her heart.
And then like another 20 years from now, when I'm going to binge the show again, I'll probably be Sophia. I'll be like, yeah, you don't know what it was like when I had a rotary phone. You kids and your smartphones. Let's see, I gotta go through my notes. There's a lot of notes. I liked how much of the stuff that they had in this episode that stayed, because they talk about like how Blanche's husband was dead, Rose's husband was dead, and I think Dorothy mentions Stan. I think she says his name.
I think she mentions that they're divorced.
Because I think they mentioned that he cheat. Oh, it was. I think she talks about it where he was on a flight and they told the stewardess to give everybody a lei,
and she got
confused. So they kind of talk about it, and most of that stuff actually stays in the series. So I liked that. But yeah, as far as the pilot goes, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I thought that was a really, it's the beginning of Golden Girls, and it didn't fail us.
Yes.
So.
Yep. So I don't really know how long or how many episodes we're going to do per video. We're just going to kind of play it by ear. Just kind of keep it casual. We're only at 6 minutes. We can do a second video.
Come on.
So after this, so this is the pilot. Most people don't consider pilots to be like real episodes. It's just the thing that they film to give to the studio to be like, here's our idea. What do you think? And then they take it or leave it, which is why so many changes happen. Usually even big casting, like when we get to the empty nest one later on down the line, like they were like, okay, we'll take that pilot if you change everything about it. So it's like, okay. So for the second episode, Guess Who's Coming to the Wedding? It's basically a new pilot. This is the real first episode. And the first thing that I caught on was like, the first pilot was about a wedding. It's about Blanche getting married. And now we have another episode about a wedding. So, like that. But I like this one too. I thought it was, I mean, I'm probably going to say that about every episode, let's be real. But this one actually introduces Kate and Stan.
Dorothy's daughter?
Yep.
Okay, yep. Introduces her and her soon-to-be doctor husband. That's really just a foot doctor.
Dennis.
Yes.
Yes, the podiatrist.
Yes.
How many feet do you see? Do you know Dr. Scholl? Like, yeah, Rose has the best lines. So what I liked about this one is, first of all, they introduce Kate, Dorothy's daughter, and later on we'll meet her son.
Oh, okay.
But you never see Kate and Michael together. Like, there's no, like, happy family episode where it's Stan, Dorothy, Kate, and Michael.
Oh, I never caught that before.
I didn't either. I looked it up.
The powers of Google.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't know how to word this, I liked about this episode, but it was heartbreaking, was, so in the first pilot, they talk about how Stan left Dorothy without even a goodbye. And the thing about this episode...
That's actually in the first, she even admits, because when they're on the phone, she was like, well, after 2 years, she's like, he didn't come back, so...
I just assumed.
Yeah.
This part of that part of this episode, like, broke my heart.
Is when she's on the lanai.
Yes, talking to Stan about how after 38 years of marriage...
38 years of marriage, all the kids, soccer league...
The happy moments, the sad moments.
When their business failed.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot to go through in a marriage.
And then Stan just left.
And then, yeah.
Which, do they get back together?
I
I know at the end of the series, Dorothy remarries, but Stan's in a lot of episodes.
Yeah, he's in a lot of episodes, but I think it's because, is what I know, like, I don't know if I should give out spoilers.
I don't think it matters. I'm pretty sure everybody watching this has seen it. I was just going to say,
it's Golden Girls. Everyone's seen it at least once or twice. Most people know Stan ends up, the one girl that he leaves Dorothy for, ends up actually leaving him. So
I forgot about that.
Yes. Yep. And so he ends up coming back to Miami, and he ends up I think he ends up starting up another business because he wants Dorothy to help him.
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I'm pretty sure, I'm like, you know what, I'm terrible. My memory's like...
He smokes, I drink. We don't remember stuff. But no, I like Stan as a character though. But like this episode does not. He's not a likable character.
No, he's
He
definitely...
kind of has like comic relief, but when you get to that end scene, like you're like he's a douche.
Yeah, he's definitely... Well, I mean, I feel like he's made to be hated in the show. And so, I mean, he kind of was, but then he ends up, like you said, being that comic relief.
But I like how in this episode it starts out where she opens the door and he's like, "Hey, it's me, Stan," and slams the door. "Oh, you probably didn't recognize me." "Oh no, I did. That's why I slammed the door in your face." So, but I don't know. It's always, I don't know. Since I'm doing this review with you, like I'm always scared of stuff like that because like my parents had a failed marriage, but I feel like
Mine did too.
so I always feel like us being together, like the goal in life is to do better than your parents did.
Oh, I think by far, I don't know about you, I've done that with about my parents. I think I've accomplished a lot. And yes, I
Like
have
me?
yes, like you. And the fact that, like, you know, I'm in my 20s and we purchased our first home. We have 2 new cars that we're buying. I mean, just right there alone, I'm doing way better than my parents ever did.
Hopefully we don't divorce after 38 years though.
I was at we'll be married for 3 years, and so if we can make it past that, we're doing better than my parents as well. So yes, in a long run, I do think about stuff like that. Like I have actually a friend right now who they had been together for over 20 years and they are actually separating. And yes, that hurts me. But overall, I think that for the most part we communicate, or at least I yell and communicate one way or another, so you hear me.
That's why we have this.
I told you I wanted a dog, and we compromised, and we got a dog.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're stuck with me, unfortunately.
I'm good. So overall, if you had to give the first 2 episodes of Golden Girls a ranking, like 1 through 10, what would you do?
Ooh, I don't know. The first episode, I don't even think the pilot episode should be ranked just because, like I said, it's that first time they're together. You can feel the awkwardness in the episode. But then they, you know, they get together and they... I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to rate the first pilot just because there's so much to go on there. But the first, like, actual episode, I forgot what you said it was called.
Guess Who's Coming to the Wedding? Which in itself, I don't know if you've seen it. That is a joke on the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which is all about a white woman dating a black man. And it takes place like back in the 60s or something. And then, I mean, you probably saw the remake with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher, Guess Who?
Oh, yeah, yep.
So that's the joke on that. Guess Who's Coming to the Wedding? And it's all about the confrontation between Dorothy and Stan.
Okay, gotcha. That one and I don't know. I'd probably give that one like an 8.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
I mean, it's still in the beginning of the series. I mean, they got some time to work with it, but yeah, I'll give it an 8. It wasn't a 10 completely, but you know,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Which is honestly pretty good for starting out in a show, because usually shows start pretty weak and then they build, and then they go back down, and that's when they get canceled. Whereas I feel like Golden Girls is pretty steady all the way across.
For the most part, just because that's what I like about the Golden Girls is it's a show like you don't really have to follow it every single day. You can watch it. You know, there might be a couple episodes here and there where, you know, they might carry over and you're like, oh, that's a certain part from like a previous episode that they're bringing up, and, you know, like a little shout out or something. But that's why I like it, is because I don't have to sit down and watch it every single day. If I miss an episode, I can watch another one, and then I can go back to that one, and the show's still going to make sense to me.
That's where you and I differ. You like the episodic thing, I like the story arcs.
Yeah, see, I like those.
Which is why I watch a lot of modern shows, and you get confused.
Yep, because I don't watch them all. So,
so anything else? Any last minute words to our viewers? As my first regular co-host.
No extra words from me today.
Okay, well, hopefully you guys enjoy these reviews of Golden Girls because you guys picked them, so I'm doing it for you. No word as of yet of how far it's going to go, if we do Golden Palace, Empty Nest, Nurses, any of that yet. We'll see when we get there. It's a long ways away. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you guys for the YouTube subscriptions and everything, and we will see you guys next time.